Good morning, happy holidays, and welcome to this week's Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and of course, as usual, the man from the other side of the world, showing up with a big cheese smile to talk about Xbox, my brother from another mother, the Welsh gamer. Welcome, dude.
What's happening, my good man, Mr. BoomStick What's happening, chat? Everybody, Welsh gamer here. Man, we got a very good list of topics. Let's get to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen. First of all, I have to say this. This past Saturday, had the pleasure of unveiling a new live program to my channel called Double Barrel Gaming Presents. Now, if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, I'm going to do a little self-advertising here because I've been doing YouTube since 2017, November 3rd, more specifically. And in the time from my first video until last Saturdays with the Iron Lords, I have to say that it has been my favorite episode I've ever done. You got a chance to learn about BoomStick, his history in gaming, where I hung out, in the Bronx, who I hung out with, my brother Neo Mental, the import shop. The grandfather stories from Queens Boulevard are to literally pee your pants. They're so funny. So it's going to be something I'm going to be doing monthly. It's going to be a special edition episode where I'm now going to be spotlighting particular shows, not just people, because obviously, when I first started this channel, I was very big into the community spotlight. And in that particular is part of the channel was always a lot of work because you're basically interviewing someone based on notes that they send you. So you got to make it sound like you've actually spoken to them. And I wanted to evolve it in a way that was able to get a lot of people in one shot, so to speak. So doing a lot of brainstorming, I came up with the idea that I was going to start, spotlighting entire, groups of people on shows that you may not know. And, if you've never heard of the BRAP podcast on YouTube, I highly suggest giving these guys a look. They're going to be the second group, second show that I do the spotlight on. The first part of the show is getting to know these YouTubers individually, what brought them together, how they remained friends, how the show it became what it is, and then each month after that, I'm going to be trying to get entire panels on. And I don't want to go too much into the future because obviously, January is still a bit of ways. But you know what? Enough of that. Let's get into why everyone showed up today. And I cannot thank everybody enough for hanging out in the chat and tuning in to this episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. So let's hit with topic one. This is the question that I'm going to pose. What does ProjectX-Cloud, Anaconda, and Lockhart mean for the Xbox platform in the next generation, which is rumored to start and become full effect in 2020. Now, in a story that I pulled from Windows Central, they're reporting that the names of the hardware for the next generation are Anaconda, Lockhart, and it appears that the next generation will have 3 SKUs when you include ProjectX-Cloud that was announced earlier this year. According to the article, they say this. According to our sources, there are 2 consoles being currently being prepped and aimed for 2020 holiday debut. And Windows Central is also reporting that Microsoft is exploring technology to dramatically reduce loading times, potentially including SSD storage in the package, lowering the price on both Lockhart and Anaconda. So let's break down these 3 next generation iterations, right? So we first have ProjectX-Cloud, and it's poised to launch between $100 and $150 and be the size of a deck of cards. It's going to run on the Microsoft Azure servers and become an entry-level Xbox experience for the casual market, something that Sony has done very well in this generation with the PlayStation 4 Slim. Next up is codename Lockhart, which is being considered the Xbox One S2 and will be a bit more powerful than the current Xbox One X. This will be the cheaper version of the two next generation Xbox consoles releasing in 2020, hitting somewhere between $300 and $400. And last but certainly not least is Anaconda. This is being dubbed as the premium version of the three. This will be the Xbox for hardcore gamers like us, like Drew, like everybody in the chat right now. Now, Drew.
Yes.
Microsoft is really setting themselves up to appeal to a broad spectrum of gamers. They are going after the casual, regular players, and at the same time still catering to the hardcore that the Xbox we know and love. What are your takeaways from what I have to say about the three versions, and do you think that it's a good way for them to start the next generation?
Absolutely. I took the time to break down each individual one, but just to quickly and on the back of what you were saying, broaden the scope a bit, talk about all three as a collective. It's a no-brainer at this point that what Microsoft is trying to do is appeal to just about anyone and everyone who has, whether it's a small passion for gaming or a large passion for gaming, wants to just spend an X amount of money or is happy to throw down the cash for the premium product. Whatever the case, whatever your whether it's price or preference, whatever the case here, Xbox wants to have you covered, and they're doing it in this particular way. Now, with ProjectX-Cloud specifically, for lack of a better term, this is the cheaper entry model, as you alluded to, Boom. It's probably, in my opinion, going to be the main sell for Xbox in the next generation, as it will appeal to the casual market. Well, it's a no-brainer, really. After the success of the PS4 and its casual target audience this generation, it's a no-brainer, really. And I do think by now, like, it's become apparent that it is one of Phil Spencer's and team's main priorities. With that said, though, I will say I feel that it is going to appeal to a whole other demographic that a lot of people might overlook, which is the gamer on the move. Now, I don't necessarily mean the handheld people, because I'm assuming there is going to be an active thing with xCloud that'll cater to. But I'm on about like people who go on holidays or traveling with work, people who bounce from hotel to hotel. Think about it. Imagine if you're one of these people, Boom, where, like, say, you're a businessman or you're an entrepreneur or you work for a firm or something, and they're like, oh, you need to go here for 3 weeks.
Right.
Without, just the ability to plug in and play with a Wi-Fi connection without having to drag a heavy box around is going to appeal to a lot of people. Even if that said person already owns one of the other SKUs, which I'll get to in a minute, they might still want this xCloud stream box for traveling.
Yes.
So it's going to pay for itself, really, because I can guarantee you now, Boom, like, I'll probably want one because, like, say, take this Christmas, for instance. I'm going to be staying at my parents' house for like a few nights. Rather than dragging my Xbox One X and this and that, I could just take this little deck of cards size box, plug it into the side of my telly, hook it up to the Wi-Fi, sign into my details. Boom! I've got all my Xbox Game Pass games ready to play. It's just perfect for that. Last point on the potential success of this particular SKU, though, for parents as well that might have several children, this could be a great option. But no, on Lockhart now, for a simple comparison to what we have currently on the market, this is the Xbox One S 2.
Yes, exactly.
So it's quite amazing, really. They are really catering for all the whole spectrum of things. This is going to be for the gamer that is wanting to stick to the traditional box under the TV option for the lowest price. If they, because obviously this particular person is not going to want to even touch the digital-only, stream-only box. It's safe to say that there's a significant percentage of the community that are simply just not ready for the digital-only stream box that the xCloud option offers. So for that person, this is the cheap entry model. I'm pitching it's going to be anywhere between $300 and $400,
yes,
which is the sweet spot.
Yes.
It is the sweet spot, and that is the perfect price point and more than okay asking price for like a mid sort of section between the premium and the cheap stream box option. That is a sweet spot, I think. 300 to 400, 350 just for argument's sake. And we let's just put it this way, Boom, and I've got this in big capital letters. We do not want a repeat of 2013.
Well, you know what? I think they've learned their lesson, and I just want to kind of back up real quick and add something to your streaming box situation. Besides it being tiny, besides it being the size of a deck of cards, let's just talk. You said something important. Oh, if you have kids and they want to play the Xbox, they want to go in the other room, they can, right? Most homes have multiple rooms, multiple TVs that they share, which is fantastic. But that is going to be the system that's going to be the double dipper, if you know what I mean. Like you and I are going to go out and we're going to buy the $500 or $600 premium maximum Xbox experience. But then if you show me this little deck of cards that's going to be able to play games anywhere on the go here, you know what I'm saying? Go to a hotel room. You're traveling for work. You're going to the grandparents' house, wherever. You're going to your mates who doesn't have Xbox, and you want to, bring your games with you. You literally plug it in, and you're good to go. That's going to be $100, $150. A lot of us, including myself, will be double dipping.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to make that point, because okay, it might not just be the businessman. It might not just be the kids. It could be just about any circumstance you can think of. You just mentioned about mates and gaming. It just occurred to me then that like I could want to go over my mate's house for a good old fashioned gaming night, Doritos, beer, and staying up till the late AM. And instead of having to drag my Xbox One X2 or One Z or whatever it's going to be called, I can just take this little box with me and I'm good to go. It's gonna do what it is setting out to do, and that's appeal to the broader casual market, the people who just want that cheap entry model. Boom, got on the go, and then like you said, Boom, and I can't stress this enough. A lot of people I do think will be, like you said, double dipping, because it's going to be a good thing to have in your gaming arsenal for just about any other occasion that might call for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So continue, sir. I want to hear your what you have to say about the premium system now.
Yeah. Well, finishing what I was saying on Lockhart, I was talking about the price being the sweet spot of $300 to $400, which is why the entry model traditional box under the TP SKU. This should, in theory, with that said, it should sell pretty well at that price point. The only question I have left, Boom, and this is something I just wanted to ask you before I go into my thoughts and opinions on the premium option, but with conjunction to the Anaconda and Lockhart, my only question left is, and to the chat as well, what do you think? Will this SKU be diskless? The Anaconda and Lockhart, do you think they're going to go diskless, or do you think maybe for this generation only, and maybe only this generation until the next one after that, they're going to stick with the traditional disc option as well just to keep everyone sweet?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, listen, to be honest with you, I'm going to say it's going to have the ability to play a disc, and here's why. The premium box is going to be in the 500s. I mean, again, it could be in the 6s depending on what comes with it. If you tell me that I'm getting the most powerful console ever made, which is what Anaconda is going to be, and it comes with, let's say, for instance, an elite controller. Like if you're going to sell me the elite package, you're going to sell me the best. I'm on your car lot and I'm looking at the Mercedes, and there's 3 of them there, and there's the one that's 50. And it has, it has power locks and it has heated seats and things. And then you move on to the one that's 65, and now it's leather. And basically, it has all the bells and whistles. But then you move up and there's one more, and you go, man, that one that's 70, that's 77. Holy shit. When I get in the car, it asks me how I'm doing and if it could blow me. Right? Right. So that's the car I think most people are going to want to get. Again, the reason why there's 3 options is because I always say this. Gaming is an expensive hobby, and Microsoft wants all gamers to enjoy all games on the Xbox platform, and having 3 different SKUs allows people who don't have as much money. You don't want to have to sell, your 3 other systems and all of your game collection to be able to afford to play the new Xbox. I wouldn't want to do that, and I wouldn't want to see another gamer do that. So if there's an option where they could somehow still get a system, because remember, right now the Xbox One X is the most powerful console and everything looks amazing. So if you're telling me that the mid version is slightly better than what we already have, you are already winning as a gamer as far as I'm concerned. Now, you take the big box, again, the elite package needs to be elite, right? It needs to be the best graphicable, it's got to run everything in 60 frames. It's got to be 4K Ultra. It's got to come with possibly, and in my opinion, it should, if you're going to charge the big bucks, the version that comes with an Elite 2.0 controller. Again, if you're going to sell me the Elite package, give me everything Elite, and I'll spend the money, no problem. But I think that the mid one, for at least for now, is going to have the ability to have the disc, simply because if you remove it, you're kind of really just shaving off again, it may not be as big as it once were, but still people like their discs. And I personally, if I was doing the marketing on this console, I would not remove it, at least not in 2018, 2019, 2020 when it comes out.
No, absolutely. Just want to confirm, Boom, can you hear me? Because it just booted me out for about 5 seconds.
Yes, you are perfectly clear, and I'm sure if chat, do me a favor, just throw in the a 1 if you hear the Welsh gamer, because obviously his opinion is just as important as mine, and I need him as my partner. So if you hear him, thumbs up, I'm happy.
I caught the arse end of what you were saying, though, Boom.
Yes,
and I do reckon that if they are going to go the route of getting rid of the discless option, I think it would be the premium option, if any of them, because the premium option is going to be aiming for the hardcore demographic, and most people who are hardcore, in the game are welcome to any real change. So I think so anyway. I think most people who are going to be buying the premium option, I don't think are going to care whether there's a disc tray or not. That's just my just broadest, just out there opinion I just threw out there. But codename Anaconda, the premium option. In other words, the Xbox One X2. This is going to appeal to the hardcore audience, likely the same people that ran out to buy the One X day one. There's not a whole lot to say that I haven't already said about the last 2 SKUs, other than this is going to be the high-end choice for your games. Better visuals, better frames, faster loading times, just the better experience overall. Now, I personally think, Boom, that this machine is going to be aiming for a 4K 60 FPS locked box.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, with that said, though, Boom, maybe there'll be higher frame rates on certain games, but I do think 4K 60 FPS will be the standard for most, if not all, games, permitted that said developer utilizes the hardware. And that also said, this is something that can truly be expected for all first-party Xbox games. So I do expect that, I expect most, if not all, games to be 4K 60 locked at bare minimum. But I think for sure, when it comes to Xbox's first-party studios and the games that they're going to be producing, it's an absolute given that we are going to be seeing 4K 60 at the bare minimum, possibly even higher frames, who knows. As for price, I do think this is going to be around anywhere between 450 and 500.
I'm thinking 500. I'm thinking on the higher end. I'm thinking 500 because it is the premium. Like when you say premium, listen, I'm not a rich dude. You know what I'm saying? I know. Good old Mooch said, give me the tagline. Boom buys everything. And you know what? To some extent, I still do. Not as much as I used to be. I used to be very loose with the money. Now, retired. You got to kind of make sure that the lights stay on. So I'm not as loose. So I do try to get all the big AAA stuff because, obviously I want to be in the know. And I love gaming. So, obviously I'm going to try and get everything. But I'm right there with you. 450 to 5, but I'm thinking 5, maybe, depending on what's in the box. You got to remember what's in there. What's in this box? What's going to come in this package? If you get, I put it to this way, and I know people are going to, maybe people are going to agree with me. Maybe people are going to start booing. I don't know, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you told me that I would be able to grab an Xbox One X2 or whatever it's going to be called, and I'm getting a premium console with a, like, let's say, Elite 2.0 premium controller, I would have no problem paying like $550 for it, because I was going to go out and buy the $150 2.0 anyway. So if I can, cut off a couple of dollars, get the premium system, get the premium controller all in one box, you know what? Sign me up.
I tell you this though, Boom. I do think that we are looking at a very sweet spot between the 450 and 500 mark. I'm not going to go on a limb and say, oh, I think it's going to be 450. I'm with you. I think 500 is a safe bet. But even a lot of people, maybe in the chat, I can't actually see the chat anymore because of my computer doing that stupid thing where it booted me out. But I can imagine a lot of people thinking, oh, but it's going to be this, it's going to be that. I remember when people were speculating the One X to be anywhere between $700 and $800. And all I can say is this: the way they're doing the Xbox One X2 or Anaconda, we'll call it for the time being, is it's not carrying its own weight per se. Like when the One X came out, all it had to look behind it and be like, oh, these are the fuckers I have to drag along with me, is the Xbox One Fat, which was, as much as I loved it for what it was a joke in the community. The One S was like a huge aesthetic upgrade, but it wasn't a huge, an over the top upgrade. But it was there nonetheless. It was a nice entry model, what the Xbox One should have been, for argument's sake. But with but the One X still sold remarkably well considering the asking price and what you were getting. I think in this case, Anaconda has got a far better chance of being sold at a loss, even if on paper it was like worth or should be sold at like the 800 to $1,000 price, just to throw a random number out there. I think they could still sell it at a nice sweet spot of 450 to 500 because they're going to make their money back in dividends because of the other two SKUs. Just the deck of cards stream box alone.
It's one of those. It's one of those devices, yes, that are gonna fly off the shelf, dude. When you put $100 price tag and this starts again, the hardcore is such a small demographic to the overall 100% of a gaming community. It's probably somewhere around 20%, and it might be less, it might be a little more. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that 25%. And the Xbox, I want to say this: the Xbox community, that platform, their hardcore is hardcore, and they may exceed into like the 30%. Let's say 35%, or maybe even slightly a little more, because the hardcore really gravitates towards Xbox. I mean, that's a proven fact. That I'm not making that up just to get someone into the seat. Whereas, you're taking nothing away from Sony, 90 plus million. I mean, they're doing something right. Their marketing, I'm a big fan of. I've said it numerous times. They appeal to the casual market, and the casual market, who are they? Well, they're the folks that are going to buy the Spider-Man bundle or the God of War bundle, because it's $200, and they're probably going to buy 2 games for that entire calendar year. They'll buy the NBA 2K version, they'll buy a Madden, they might buy a Call of Duty, they may throw a fighter game in there that someone at work is playing. Maybe they're a fan of Dragon Ball Z and they buy Z Fighters or something, but they're only buying 3 and 4 games per year. You know what I'm saying? That's the casual market that Sony was able to sweep up. So, good on them for that. And Microsoft
is doing. Boom, I gotta say though, Boom, like you opened up that statement with, "I'm not taking anything away from Sony," and I'm going to interject by saying you're absolutely not taking anything away from Sony, and I am completely agreeing with you there. And I find it almost an insult to Sony when you got people like defending and being like, oh no, Sony's not the casual box. Yes, it is.
Yes,
and
it
that's
is.
Not,
But,
and that
yeah.
is not a bad thing. Just because their demographic is to the casuals does not mean it's a failed platform.
It's certainly not.
Xbox is, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, the hardcore multiplayer box.
Yes, correct.
And that,
Well said.
and people could say, oh no, it doesn't. It has the odd single player game that appeals to the casuals. Yeah, maybe so, but it is in fact the hardcore multiplayer box, because I'd say 90% of people who invest in Xbox and its first party, like your Halo and Gears as prime examples, play a lot of the multiplayer. And you only have to look at these esports tournaments, these MLG tournaments. Like, people are winning millions and millions of dollars playing at a very professional level on the Xbox. You don't really see millions of dollars being thrown around for the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. It's just a fact. Like, no one needs to apologize. There's nothing wrong with it. PS4 has succeeded in exploring and nailing its demographic, and I think that's what's made Xbox look in the Sony book a little bit. Hence why we're getting this stream box, because that is more than appealing to the casual.
It certainly is. Yes.
For me, all I can say is kudos to Sony, because Xbox, was going one way, Sony was going another, and Xbox has taken note that there is more than just one way, and they as we've alluded to, breaking down the 3 options. Boom, they are aiming for everyone,
yes,
not just the hardcore.
Every budget, every man, woman, and child that likes gaming, you're going to find something in there. But real quick, I got to pay the bills. Once again, Michael Johnson, a wonderful friend of the show, with the incredible $5 super chat. And he says this: thanks to the Xbox One X, more gamers than ever are now conditioned to pay the $4.99 for our console and will be okay with it. And yes, you are correct, Michael, when you say that. But there has to be content. There has to be quality behind that $500 price tag. And what's even more amazing is, I don't know how long this is going to last. If you're listening to the show, and if you're not an Xbox One X owner, it's $400 now. So I tell you what you do: treat yourself to a Christmas present, or a Kwanzaa present, or a Hanukkah present, or just a holiday present, and buy yourself the most powerful console this side of Texas. But before we move on to the next topic, I kind of wanted to say this, because I've seen this. I've heard many people on Twitter calling this move confusing to the consumer market. But I think it's genius, and here's why. Microsoft is trying to make the next generation, I said this earlier, affordable to everyone. Options, the last time I checked, Welsh, is a good thing. This hobby is expensive, and appealing to every budget will have the next generation flying off the shelves, which is what Microsoft wants to happen. And it goes right in line with Phil Spencer saying that they want to touch and hit 2 billion gamers. This is how they do that, right? You have these, you got to remember, folks, this is not where it's going to end. It's not going to end with the 2, traditional boxes and the deck of cards stream box. Do not be surprised that in 2020, shipping with every Samsung TV to start, because they have a partnership with them, the Xbox app is going to be on that TV, and you're going to be able to load connect your wireless Bluetooth controller that you have to your TV, and go and just pick the Xbox app, and all your games are going to be there. And I think that in itself is how they're going to reach the 2 billion gamers. But you know what? I said his name, and I have to talk about him because this story excites me as a fan. In a story that I pulled from game.industry.biz, they named Phil Spencer People of the Year. And I have to say that talking about this, I'm getting goosebumps, because I'm a big fan of. Yes, sir.
Could I just quickly touch on the gamers being confused thing?
Yes, no, please go right ahead, dude. Go jump right in.
I will be quick. All I can say is I don't get how anyone can be confused, because
I don't know.
This has happened a lot. already.
They do it with phones, dude. They do it with phones. End of story.
Exactly. I mean, like in a nutshell, you have the option based on price or preference. I said that at the beginning of everything we just talked about. It's just like many other companies do with their products. Why it seems to be, for quote unquote, confusing the second Xbox do it is beyond me. But I've got here just two examples. Take the latest iPhone, iPhone X. That is the entry model to the latest iPhone.
Correct.
Then you've got the iPhone XS, which is a better LCD display, faster screen times, and more memory. And then above that is the latest and greatest, the iPhone XR, which is the latest retinal sort of like I looked it up earlier, LCD screen. So another step up again in terms of visual quality on the screen of your phone. Seems too much fussing about for me for a phone, but regardless, you've got three different models: the premium, the middle, and the entry. And now another example, we've all seen it. You've got like Google Minis and stuff like that, but Alexa, Amazon does their own version. And you've got as an entry, the Alexa Echo Input, which is basically a little disc, literally like it's no bigger than a cookie. And it does all the voice commands, but if you want to hear anything, you need to supply your own external speaker. So that's the very cheap option. Then the next one above that is the Echo Dot, which is the one that's no bigger than a cookie, but it has a speaker included. And then the one above that, the Alexa Echo, is a tall pint glass looking thing, which can control your heating, your TV, control it can tell you weather, do all kinds of things. And then the one above that is the Echo Spot /Show, which is like a tablet with a speaker on it, and you can actually do video calls with your family. My point being, once again, you have an entry model, which is the input, and you've got two models in between, your premium model, which is the Echo Spot, and there you have it. That is just two examples. You've got Apple and Amazon, two of the biggest companies in the world, with one of their biggest selling products, respectively for each company, doing an entry, a middle, and a premium product for the same product to appeal to the mass market. So please don't be confused, ladies and gentlemen, because if you just opened your eyes a little bit, this has happened before, and it'll continue to happen because that's how business works. If you've got a product and it costs X amount, you can't expect everyone to just line up to pay that amount. You've got to have, it only benefit you as the man trying to make the dollar to have an option for the lower end and the higher end, just to keep everyone sweet. I just had to throw that out there, Boom. But please, the next topic proceeds.
Okay, well, listen, that was a great addition. I appreciate you taking the time. It was well thought out. But you know what? Yes, let's move on to the next topic, Welsh. Like I was saying, I pulled the story from game.industry.biz. Now, I happen to really like this website. If they seem to be in the know with a lot of things, and they do write the articles very well. So if you're interested, go check them out. But I found this article very appealing. I'm a big fan of Phil Spencer. I think he is probably one of the most genuine human beings in the gaming business. He's passionate. He's funny. He's an executive that's not an executive, if you get what I mean. I mean, of course, he wears suits when he needs to, but this guy is usually in jeans and sneakers. He usually has a limbo shirt or a battle toe shirt on with one of those, the jackets you just slip on to make him look semi-professional. But he's a down-to-earth dude. That's what I think. I've never met him. Hopefully that will change in the future. But he was awarded People of the Year by GI Biz. And yeah, okay. And I actually said something on Twitter, and of course, immediately someone who I'm not going to mention their name because I don't name shame. I don't do that. I don't agree with him, but I would never throw him out there and run the bus over him because I don't like that. But he told me, "Hey man, just so you know, it's not a physical award." And of course, I had to respond with, "Dude, come on, seriously." Does it really need to be a physical award to be something special? I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think Phil would be embarrassed to show that off. That's how humble of a person he is. Well, listen, let's take it back for a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning. In September of 2017, Phil Spencer was promoted to the leadership team And with that promotion, he now reports directly to Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella. And that's a big deal, okay? He has the ear of the guy that runs Microsoft. Not many people do. Folks, that's a big deal, okay? You fast forward to 2018, and man, has Phil Spencer made some moves. Game Pass is a runaway success. Games as a service has become mainstream. Crackdown 3 was almost dead and canceled, and now it's been made better. Thanks to who? Phil Spencer. Let's not forget the adaptive controller that is poised to change gaming as we know it. With and you got to understand, for the physically challenged gaming community, this was a big hurdle. Phil Spencer greenlit this project to make sure that everyone was given the opportunity to enjoy the incredible world of gaming, something that a lot of us take for granted. Trust me when I tell you, okay? Two other big happenings were the help of the Xbox division. Microsoft surpassed Apple as the richest company in the US, and the acquisition of 7 studios and the creation of the Initiative, the first quadruple A development house in the gaming business. This is all under one man's watch. I mean, now you see how it's starting to stack up, Welsh? Now, PlayStation may have dominated the charts, but it was it was Xbox and Phil Dominus Spencer, that thanks to King of the Iron Lords who came up with that got the game industry talking. And if these incredible lists of accomplishments weren't enough for him to be considered a person of the year when it comes to gaming, I certainly don't know what else I could possibly say. Now, Welsh, I got to go to you right away. You're my co-host. You know what I'm saying? Your opinion is as important as mine. What are your takeaways with him getting this, being nominated, giving this award by GI.biz?
Right. First and foremost, right, I have to profess my respect for the man. He is phenomenal, and selfishly, as just a gamer with my blinkers on, I'm putting my feet in the shoes of just about anyone who was just focused on their gaming and gaming alone. Blinkers on. Phil, for that reason, deserves a lot of respect because he has turned Xbox around. But if you just take those blinkers off for just 2 seconds and see what he's done on a grand scheme, that man has quite literally led Microsoft as a whole now to whole other heights. Like, it's been more than documented as of late. And you even said it yourself, with the help of the Xbox division, and it has in fact become a much bigger focus.
Yes,
Microsoft has now surpassed Apple.
That's a big deal, dude.
Like, guys, like, literally, like, don't get me wrong. Don't get this wrong. I'm not saying Phil is the guy who did that. He is one piece of a big puzzle, but he had a huge part to play because the gaming division has just gotten stronger and stronger, and he has been the one to lead the charge. His influence on everyone, like we said last week, has been incredible. The acquisition of 7 studios, the creation of the Initiative, which is the first quadruple development house. Honestly, guys, these are all massive milestones, which a lot of people tend to overlook, and it shouldn't. But I will say this, all that aside, the adaptive controller should be reason enough for Phil to get the recognition he deserves.
Damn right.
Honestly, I can't be more. I opened up to you, Boom, and the chat about my sister and my son and like how this adaptive controller might have had a huge effect on my sister. It could potentially, in years to come, have a huge effect on my son. I could potentially have the opportunity to game with my son one day because of this. And that's just me. Like, little old me, little old Welsh gamer. Imagine all the kids and young adults and old people, you name it, out there with either just getting older and their hands don't work like they used to, or they got a disability, anything. Like, you name it. There is a multitude of things that can stop one or multiple people just being able to pick up a controller like the average person, like me and you, Boom. And now this has given them the opportunity to get into a hobby that me and you and everyone in the chat love. And if that is not reason alone for Phil to be given the credit, whether it's an award or just a fucking applause.
I love it.
I just, that for me just seals the deal. But Phil Spencer is a remarkable leader. And like we said last week about his influence on the team and the bosses, he has had a huge impact on this whole generation. And 2018 marks a huge milestone for Xbox and Phil's vision, as everything that was theorized is now in full effect and paving the way for a very exciting future. And that is all down to Phil. So yeah, I'm going to give him one of these. He deserves whatever recognition he gets.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I want to continue because in 2018, the Xbox strategy was made clear. As Nintendo focused on Super Smash Bros., which is a runaway success, and that's no surprise. I bought 2 copies, one for me, one for my nephew, and I love it. I suck at it, but I love it nonetheless. Sony actually ran out of things to announce. Microsoft used the opportunity to set out its vision for the next generation, and that vision is big, multifaceted, and hugely ambitious, to say the least. It involves subscription services, streaming technology, multiple consoles, mobile, development services, PC ecosystems, and even community platforms. Now, here's a direct quote from Phil Spencer in the interview from GI.biz. And this is what Phil had to say. It's been a transformable year for the Xbox on many fronts, says Spencer. We advanced our position with the Xbox Game Pass by making our first-party content available in the service at launch and added 7 studios to the Microsoft first-party division, bringing new talent and new perspective. I'm incredibly proud of the team for delivering the Xbox adaptive controller to make gaming accessible to everyone and people with limited mobility, and are also our vision to make gaming accessible in new ways to more people with ProjectX-Cloud. With that said, we have much we want to accomplish, and our entire team is excited about the years ahead. I mean, listen, I'm going to say this, man. We just spent 10 or 15 minutes talking about all of these things that he's done, and he's such a smart man. He broke it down in what? 6 sentences, maybe, right? But when you say it, whether it be the way we described it in the 15-minute block, or you read a quote from one interview, which is one quote. This is one paragraph of an interview that probably lasted about maybe half an hour, because I can't obviously talk about everything that was in the, in the article. We'll be here till tomorrow, so I have to strategically pick which I think is going to be interesting to the fan base that's listening right now. And I thought this was. And this is an amazing block of words because it really does break down in a short amount of understanding what he has done in just 2018. Could you imagine what he's going to do in 2019 and 2020? I mean, what do you think with that? What do you think about what he had to say, Drew?
I just think he oozes confidence. Like the man might not come across as a very confident dude. He reeks of humble pie.
Yes, he certainly does. Well said.
But like he knows his worth. I think whether he shows it or not, I think he knows it. And I think with the everything we've talked about, he must to some extent know it. He might never admit it. He might not come outwardly and say like, "Oh, I'm the big dog. Look at me." But he's got weapons and he's got a very good business head on him. He's always thinking forward. And like you said, 2018, like, just look at 2018, all the things, all the pieces of the puzzle, all the things that have been talked about since like 2014 through to 2016, with like play anywhere and all these things and theorizing, like, being able to play anywhere, like either mobile and then like with Xbox Game Pass, people were like, is this going to be this, that, and the other? It's turned out to be a runaway success. And now with these 7 acquisitions, one of them being the first ever quadruple A development house There's so many things. The adaptive controllers I praised a moment ago. This man is not sitting still. I can imagine he was the most irritating child in the world. Like, honestly,
that's great. I never really thought of it like that.
honestly, I bet you if I could just sit with him for 5 minutes, or if not him, sit with his mum or his dad and just be like, was he a bastard when he was a kid? Or did he like just run up and down the stairs and cause havoc? Like, I bet he was just itching to do something all the time. And for whatever reason, whatever the case, I do believe everything happens for a reason. He has found himself in this position of strength, position of power with Xbox, and with power comes great responsibility. And I think he's using it wisely, efficiently, effectively, and fairly with the gaming community. And that goes for the individuals with handicap, disability. Like, he's thinking of everyone. And then the premium demographic, the middle demographic, the casual like entry demographic, like literally he's got 101 things on his mind at once, and it's not getting to him in the slightest. 2018 marks a huge milestone. 2019 is going to be absolutely massive, and 2020 and beyond with all these like consoles, Anaconda, Lockhart, we could go on and on. Boom. This man is a remarkable leader, and I, as an Xbox fan, am buzzing to know that he's in the position he's in. And that interview basically just screamed to me that he doesn't even care. He doesn't care in the sense, not he doesn't care about the gamer or the community. He doesn't care about any of this recognition. Everything we're saying now, I bet he'd be rose-cheeked, crying under a pillow, saying, shut up already. Stop talking about me. He just comes across as that kind of person. But man, what a guy he is.
I agree. You know what? And this is going to be a great segue into the next topic. Now, when you talk about man in charge, it's easy to just say, always think of Phil Spencer because we're Xbox guys, right? We're not business people, right? Well, I had to pull a story from Forbes.com that was, again, right place, right time. Okay. And I said it in the opening about Phil having the ear of Satya Nadella. Well, in an exclusive interview with Forbes.com, CEO Satya Nadella reveals how Microsoft got its groove back and how his faith in Phil Spencer looks to be paying off in spades. Okay, so now I want to read a little bit of the article so you guys can get an idea of how important Satya Nadella is, as well as Phil Spencer. In early 2016, 2 years into running Microsoft, CEO Satya Nadella needed advice from one of his newest employees, the co-founder of an app tool maker Microsoft just bought. Nadella was close to pulling off his blockbuster $27 billion acquisition of LinkedIn. But he wanted to talk about another company that had piqued his interest, called GitHub. That's GITHUB. Can we do it? Nadella asked the executive. We have, and here was the question: have we earned their trust? Back then, the answer would have been no. GitHub is the virtual water cooler of software development, a site where millions upon millions of programmers talk shop and share code across company boundaries. Microsoft had earned a reputation during the 90s in its heyday as the polar opposite to what they are now. GitHub was seen as wanting nothing to do with the company if it was still being run in that fashion. But after watching Nadella lead Redmond, the Washington-based giant, for 2 years, GitHub made a surprise move, choosing Microsoft over Google as its acquirer this past June. It was the last coup for Nadella, who's 51, who's breaking free of Microsoft's recent past mistakes and returning to its roots under the co-founder of Bill Gates. And this is what he had to say regarding him. Bill used to teach me, every dollar we make, there's got to be $5 or $10 on the outside. Nadella tells Forbes in his first sit-down interview since the $7.5 billion deal closed in June. Great companies were once built on Microsoft's code, Nadella says. He was reminded by Gates. He also says it's his mission to rebuild Microsoft brick by brick until it can happen again. That's what I want us to rediscover, he says. Now, he also continues with, people are finally coming around to saying it's not just the surplus that you've created for yourself. What's the state of the world around you? Nadella says, that's where I feel like we're at our best. Now, before I go into the question of the day, Drew, for this particular topic, and of course, get the opinion of the amazing chat that is just talking all over the place, and I love it, with 111 people watching live, which is amazing. I want to say this. This kind of business talk is something that you are only going to find on the Xbox Factor podcast, and both Drew and I couldn't be happier. You know, besides talking games, besides talking console plastic wars and whose D is bigger than the others, I want to bring some sort of, I want to bring an education factor to this show. And I thought that this was a great topic to know about Satya Nadella. And I hope that everyone finds this topic interesting. But Drew, let me ask you this. Here is the very simple question. Should Xbox gamers not only be excited, but have full confidence in the platform moving forward after Phil Spencer gets the Man of the Year award, Satya Nadella does a first-time interview, and everyone is now rallying around him? It looks like it's all up and up for the Microsoft Corporation, and especially the Xbox platform. Please take it away.
Well, Mr. Boomstick, I gave this one a considerable amount of thought, and I hope you're listening, and I hope the chat are listening. But right, we praise Phil Spencer to the high heavens. We must know by now what he's worth, and Satya Nadella, being the CEO, he's a remarkable guy, and he's obviously got a lot of things on his plate. Phil Spencer, he trusts. They got a good thing going on here.
Great partnership. Yes.
Oh, mate, absolutely. And Microsoft as a company is just like unbelievable. But like, I just got to say this, like, and this is for the chat. This is for you, right? Because I know right now, right, that a lot, there's always going to be a significant amount of people who might or might not care for this kind of stuff, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
But I love it, dude. I love it.
It interests me. But I'm speaking for what I'm about to read out now is for everyone. Bottom line, whether you take an interest or not in the other workings on at Microsoft, perhaps you didn't even know half of this stuff was going on in the background. Maybe you simply don't care, as it doesn't affect or interest you in the slightest. Each to their own, I say. But what needs to, at the very least, be acknowledged is that the other orders of business, other than Xbox and its gaming division, is equally, if not more, important than the gaming division itself, as it creates stability and, very importantly, potential. Potential. That is a huge word here, guys.
Yes.
Just take the 7 acquisitions and the founding of the initiative's quadruple A studio, for example. Not to mention all the other projects like xCloud, Lockhart, Anaconda, VR, keyboard and mouse, the growth and stability of the network, Xbox Game Pass, the Azure servers, etc. The list is only getting longer. And oh yes, how can I forget? The development of games. I
love it. That's great. I just threw that in there because I was worried. I didn't think we were going to play any games, but go ahead.
Mate, you can't be forgetting those games, Boom. Fan favorites like Gears of War 5 and Halo Infinite making a massive return, as well as all new games under the new first-party developers currently in the works. All these things take a lot of planning and money to put in place, and the more successful the company behind all of this is, the much larger chance of success in pulling it off. I have said this for years, guys, and go back to my videos on my channel I have said this for years. I'm quite the prophet. A platform is only as successful as the company backing it. And in Xbox's case, haters can say it's doomed or failing because of units sold or a list of games, but the evidence speaks for itself. And when you take a step back and judge all the competitors from a distance by their strengths, Xbox will sit pretty at the top of the peak as it's backed by Microsoft as a whole. And as a whole, it's a very competent and successful business, which is only growing with each fiscal year. While other companies sell off divisions, Microsoft is acquiring, adding, strengthening, and growing. And naturally, as Xbox is much bigger focus now than ever before, as stated by no other than Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer themselves, all that success in question will benefit Xbox greatly in the future moving forward, especially when going into a new generation with all these new developers and SKUs, as we have discussed. As the gamer, you'll be truly thankful you invested in Xbox and Microsoft's ecosystem roadmap, which shows no signs of hitting the brakes anytime soon. And it's very exciting to say the least. And it's all down to the success at Microsoft with the leadership there, like your Satya Nadellas and your Phil Spencers, and just about everyone who plays a huge role at Microsoft. Case in point, I'm done.
Well, dude, I got to be honest with you. First, I want to thank you for sitting down and really putting your words to paper, because that was amazing. And what you said was absolutely perfect. I don't think I could have said it better myself. But real quick before I forget, I have to say this. Drum solo, please, with the amazing $5 super chat. And he says this: guys, since 2013, how many years have we said it? Wait until next year, and it's been meh. Phil Spencer has taken over, and look at all of these moves. Dude, absolutely well said. And here's, I got to hit another one. Very good friend of mine, very good friend of his family, with the amazing and super ridiculous support of $25 super chat. And he says, from Jay Zayas, hey, Boom, as always, I'm here to support your podcast, my source of all honest gaming news. Dude, I cannot thank you enough for that. And once again, Michael Johnson, the virtual superhero of the super chat, comes in with an additional $5 donation, and he says, I haven't been this excited about the future of Xbox brand with Phil Spencer in charge since Peter Moore was in charge back in the early 360 days. Well said, Mike. I agree. Peter Moore was a force to be reckoned with, and now he is the coach and owner. I believe he's an owner of a soccer team, so he's left the gaming business from what I understand. But I want to say this before we move on to the next topic. The generosity that people have been showing me in the super chat has been extremely humbling. I don't do this for a check, folks. But I do greatly appreciate every dollar that's donated. Not $1 that is given to this show goes unnoticed and unrecognized, because every dollar counts, and you'll be surprised how much these couple of bucks that I make help. But you know what? Enough of that shenanigans. Let's move on to the next topic, and it's a good one. Halo Infinite, according to an article that I pulled from Windows Central, is poised to reward players who explore, and more that Frank O'Connor and the team at 343 Industries reveal, the more I'm starting to believe that Halo 6 is going to be the open world game that really changes what we've come to expect from a Halo game, and I couldn't be happier. Now, before the boo birds come out of left field and start booing the chat, let me explain why this change will be good for the aging franchise. When you ask Halo fans what the most memorable Halo title they've played in the last 10 years, you're going to hear Halo 3, Halo Reach, ODST. Rarely, and I mean rarely, you'll hear Halo 4. And Halo 4 was great. Okay? The single player campaign, I really enjoyed it. No one really talks about Halo 5 story, to be honest with you. I just beat it earlier this year because I just did not like it. Not saying that Locke was the worst character I've ever played, but out of 11 levels, the fact that I can only play as Master Chief 4 times basically ruined the experience for me. Now, Sure, Warzone is awesome in Halo 5, and it absolutely was the evolution of online multiplayer. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. It had co-op in there. You know, you were fighting against other live players, and at the same time, fighting against NPCs, which was great. But you know what? I want a strong story with Master Chief at the helm, and it looks like 343 heard the complaints from the fans and is addressing them in a big way. This change, air quotes, is something that the title needs, and having an open world for a game this size will be able to tell a much grander story than your corridor-based shooters. Again, I hate to use the word, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you think of Destiny, okay, whether you like Bungie, you hate Bungie, you love Destiny, or you hate it, what they have created was something magical. And if somehow or another we can get a Halo where you're using the Master Chief in an open world environment, gets me excited, because again, the series is getting a little long in the tooth. Okay. And I don't know if I want to wait 5 years, 6 years for the next Halo title. If they do an open world type of game very similar to Destiny, we might be able to get DLC throughout, keeping the story moving along. But I want to continue. In a message from Twitter user Pog City to Frank O'Connor, here's what he asked. He says, "Please, Frankie, give me a Halo Infinite detail. I will buy you corn dogs." I don't know where that came from, but that's what he said. Frank O'Connor responded via his official Twitter account and said this: "The snow in our Xmas cards of the E3 scene is temporary. The water will be varied. Natural landscapes will feature prominently. We know which ring it is. Exploration will be rewarded. Corn dogs, please, with mustard." Now, sure, the message is very cryptic in nature, but here's my interpretation of the comment. Halo Infinite will be an open world with changing seasons and weather, something on the line of what we've seen in Forza Horizon 4. When he talks exploration, I'm getting the feeling that there will be various locations to explore, large solar systems, and the ability to travel between them all at will. An open world map that will allow for side quests outside of the general story arc that 343 will be telling for this particular adventure. Now, Drew, I have to get your take on this. Are you on the Boo Bust side when I say that that change is necessary, or are you excited to see what they're going to do with this franchise moving forward?
I just want to speak very plainly, and this is basically even before any of this information came to the forefront, which is alluded to, like, in our interpretation, which I'll get to mine in a moment. But after just seeing the Halo Infinite trailer as it was shown at E3, as small and as it didn't show a whole lot really,
Right.
but nonetheless, I had my opinions there and then, and I firmly believe that we are going to get a Halo ODST on steroids. Now, what I mean by that is, like, if anyone here who has played Halo ODST, any Halo fan must have, you had the freedom of a whole city, and dotted around in that city was objects and clues that you as the rookie had to find, which then triggered a story mission. Now, love it or hate it, there might have been good things you liked about it, bad things, whatever the case. That is what I expect to see with Halo Infinite. Now, as an avid Halo fan, I've always wanted to explore the Halo world. And I think I speak, honestly, Boom, I think I speak for everyone who even is remotely a fan of Halo now. But one of the most memorable moments in any Halo game for me is the one that started it all, and that is Halo Combat Evolved.
Yes.
The second mission, simply called Halo. In a nutshell, for any of the minor individuals out there who haven't done this, you crash land on the Halo ring, and for an OG Xbox title, and its hardware limitations, you felt as though you were actually there on the Halo.
Yes, sir.
You could explore a fairly large area in the Warthog, and obviously while it had its limitations, it wasn't open world by any stretch, but still it was a great feeling of freedom and mystery. And I'll remember it till the day I die, Boom. That is what just blew my mind. And just imagine that concept now, like that concept, what I just said, but built upon and on a much larger scale. Now, Boom, how I interpret those tweets, those quotes, all that crap, minus the corn dogs. I personally think, and this is what I want as well, all I want to see is a traditional Halo game with a fantastic Master Chief focused story, with each story mission visible on the Halo Ring map under a complete and unlock regime.
Yeah.
For example, once you complete story mission 4, story mission 5 is unlocked and available to play, just to ensure that the player is doing the story missions in the intended order. Now, while that's much like any Halo game before it, no Halo game was you complete mission number 2 and it allows you to play mission number 12. But what I'm getting at is, what I want, though, is more to chew on. Instead of a loading screen in between the missions, give me the ability to travel to the next location, whether by Mongoose, Warthog, Hornet, etc., or the ability to divert. Maybe I don't want to go straight to the next story mission. Maybe I want to find the skulls that are dotted around the fully explorable Halo ring. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are some side missions to do to give the game more depth. Maybe a home base which can be upgradable. Maybe the ability to recruit a squad of Marines to accompany me on explorations. The possibilities are truly endless, Boom. And I think I speak for any true Halo fan when I say this. Change is welcome.
Yeah.
If it's done correctly.
And with respect to the franchise. Yes.
Absolutely. If you're an individual that doesn't care, this is the beauty of what I'm saying. If it was done the way I'm saying, this is the beauty of it. If you are an individual that does not give 2 shades of my grandmother's shit. Sorry. But if you don't care for the exploration side of things, and you literally just want to go from story mission to story mission while completely ignoring all the other features available, then that's fine. It should allow you to do that.
And it probably would. It would probably be seamless.
Exactly. But if, like me, you are more curious and want a larger piece of the Halo pie, then you have the ability to do much more.
Yes.
That is how I interpret it, Boom. I think they're going to do it quite clever, where you can jump from story mission to story mission if you just want to play like traditional Halo games. But if, like me, you want to explore, do the side quests, collect the skulls, explore the Halo ring, jump into the Halo world like never before, this is how you do it. And I think I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is what we get.
I agree. And I want to say this. Remember, the focus at Microsoft has changed to a games as a service mentality. And that's great for the Halo franchise if done correctly through free. Remember, I said free DLC. The game will continue to evolve, giving its player base an opportunity to, like you said, travel around the world of Halo, learn the world of Halo, enjoy the world of Halo. Not just running from Act 5 to Act 6 to Act 7, Act 9, 10, you're done. Move along. No, I want to be playing Halo the same way people are playing Destiny. Again, I'm not saying it should be like Destiny. I'm saying that Destiny has a formula about it that constantly is giving content. Yes, Activision is scumbags. We know that. Yes, Destiny 2 didn't launch like it was supposed to. And right now they're having, infighting. I get all of that. But we're talking about 343 Industries. We're talking about Phil Spencer. We're talking about the flagship franchise for the Xbox platform. It is going to be done great, Bonnie Ross is running the show. I'm going to be talking about it on tomorrow's show. She's being inducted into the Hall of Fame for gaming. I think it's a wonderful award that she deserves. And I'll end it at that. But I think that we have the potential to have something very, very different, but also a little bit of the same. Now, Asher Madden who did the article for Windows Central, finishes the article with this, and I want to read it because it was interesting. Rumor has it that the Halo Infinite, well, not that. Rumor has it that Halo Infinite will let you explore all aspects of the Halo ring, from its mountainous regions to its ocean depths. It'll be interesting to see how they will fit this into the narrative. Hopefully, the title will be a proper open world experience, because that's what the franchise needs, in his opinion. We need an evolution of the multiplayer that started to grow in Halo 5 Guardians, but with an expansive single player component, which is unlike what we've seen before. Now, I could not agree more. Again, I know people want their Halos to be their Halos, and they want their Gears to be their Gears, but you know what? We are in 2018. We're about to go into 2019, and these titles, along with real life, has to evolve to remain relevant and fresh. And I'm excited to see what they do with Halo moving forward. Drew, is there anything else you'd like to add to this particular topic?
Mate, other than I'm just excited to see two of my favorite. I say two because you mentioned Gears as well, and they have already alluded to the fact that they're going places that previous Gears haven't. I'm just excited. I can't wait to see two of my favorite franchises, Halo specifically, because that's what I'm talking about, just going where no other Halo game's gone before. Who doesn't what let's be fair, right? I'm just gonna end on this because I could easily go off on another tangent. But if you're a Halo fan who's followed the series like myself since it began on the OG Xbox, who the hell? I want to meet this person. Who doesn't want to be able to just drift off the one-way road? Like, who doesn't want to like explore the vastness of a Halo ring? Which one of you is going to message me on Twitter and say, no, well, I want to just be linear as fuck, and I don't want to do anything like that. I literally just want to go mission to mission with a nice little cutscene in between. Screw your open world. Oh, man. Whoever you are, you need psychiatric evaluation. Anyway, carry on, Boom. I'm good.
Well, now, listen. It was a great topic. I love talking about Halo. I never get bored talking about Halo. I'm excited for Halo Infinite, but we need to move on to the next topic. And I'm going to say it like this: another Xbox Factor podcast and another amazing Globriel tweet to talk about. Battletoads has been a title that many gamers within the Xbox community have been patiently waiting for. Well, thanks to Twitter user and Xbox insider Globriel, we have some new information to discuss. Here is the tweet quoting AJ, because I don't know her name. It's just AJ to the initials, the CEO of D La La Studios. The work the team are doing on Battletoads is miles beyond anything we've touched on. And these two are fantastic representations of what I hold this company to be. Now, Battletoads is slated for a 2019 release, and so far, it's shaping up to be a really good year for Xbox and its millions of fans. What we know is that Crackdown 3, Gears 5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Battletoads will be released in 2019, and there are a certain amount of unknowns that have me excited as well. Drew, let's talk about the importance of a smaller title like Battletoads, and hearing that the CEO is very excited to share with the Xbox gaming community what the team at D La La Studios are working on. How important is it for Battletoads to be good when it comes out next year?
Well, first of all, before we even get to the idea or potential of it being good or not, I just want to say that this is very important for this reason, and that there's a lot of eagerly awaiting gamers that want to hear something, or better yet, see something from Battletoads. They did drop a little like teaser trailer at E3, but that was not nearly enough. Even for me, I think I've played a Battletoads game once, like 200 years ago. I literally couldn't tell you when I last even like looked at Battletoads. But I know a lot of friends of mine that I've met through doing YouTube and that are huge Battletoads fans, and they're very much looking forward to this new one. And for them, I just hope that what they get is remarkable. But I will say this though, Boom. One of the most interesting details I come across today. I'm probably late to the party, but you posted that you gave me this topic, and I like to do a little bit of digging just to get a bit of information. I didn't realize that it's a detail I certainly missed, but until recently, much like Cuphead, which is a fan favorite.
Yes, hard as balls, but fan favorite nonetheless.
But I maybe you knew this already, but this Battletoads game is 100% hand drawn.
Yes.
I mean, I thought Cuphead took the bloody cake with that one. I thought they were a one-off. I thought they were a bunch of nutters. But it seems they're not the only ones. Let's just say this: it puts it into perspective as to why it's been in the works for so long. I mean, I fully understand now, because I was one of the ones, like maybe like last year, the year before, who was like, Phil wore a bloody Battletoads t-shirt 5 freaking centuries ago. Where is this Battletoads? But it makes sense now. They're bloody sketching the thing. Christ. No, I'll say this though. I do hope for the people who grew up with Battletoads and the people who've been eagerly awaiting it, they're very happy. I'll be honest. It's not a game I got on my radar, in the sense that like, oh my god, I need a Battletoads now. I'm intrigued. I very much look forward to seeing more details on it. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Like I've said before, I love art and I love sketching myself. I love doing all that shit. So like, I can't wait to see like the level of detail they've gone into for this. It's going to be in 4K. It's going to look stunning. They're reviving an amazing franchise, which is a fan favorite. I can't wait to see where they go with it. And I just hope that fans are happy. But just in a nutshell, Boom, this is very important, in the sense that they're finally making good on their promise. I imagine a lot of people's hairs were standing up on more than one occasion, wondering if they were ever even going to see Battletoads show up, and if it's going to be coming out 2019, a lot of people can get excited.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. Again, I think we're both in the same wheelhouse when I say just because a game doesn't cost $60 billion to make does not make it not a good game. And
boom. That notion right there can be stomped on and nailed to the ground with a 6-inch nail.
Yes.
Because, like, honestly, just take. I don't know. Let me just throw this out there. Let's just take State of Decay 1 on the 360. The Telltale's Walking Dead game on the 360. I could probably name a few more. Valiant Hearts.
Valiant Hearts was great. What a great story.
Literally, I'm just reeling off a couple. Like probably cost patents to make.
Yes.
Probably 2 men wanking in a sock in their grandma's basement made that game. And it probably took like but my god, what a great game. I mean, still to this day, I think if I was going to die tomorrow and someone said what was one of the best games you ever played, Valiant Hearts and The Walking Dead by Telltale Season 1 would be right up there as one of the most memorable, heart tear-jerking bloody games I've ever played. And those games, even together, don't match up to the budget that some of these big AAA games are producing. And so, yeah, I agree with you, Boom. People can poke their finger and be like, yeah, the thing is, though, if it AAA or no for me, mate, you're missing out on some quality games.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Sorry for the pause. I have to. Wow. I'm again, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I'm very humbled by the generosity of people. Miss Lisa 10 with the $25 super chat. Wow. I am just completely blown away. Thank you so much. She says, "Hi, my favorite Mr. Boomstick, miss you, partner." And of course, if you don't know who that is, Miss Lisa was my patrol partner in the NYPD for 7 years before I retired. She was probably my favorite partner I've ever had. Darling of a woman. Love her like a sister. She was a dynamite police officer, and don't piss her off. Let me just say that. But let's move on to the next topic. Razer teases the first Xbox One mouse and keyboard at 2019's CES on January 8th. And even though I've never played games on a mouse and keyboard, if this gets me Gears Tactics on the Xbox One X, I say count me in. Now, here's the thing. With mouse and keyboard support, I know that there's a negative stigma. I understand that completely. You don't want to play against people who use mouse and keyboard because it is an advantage to them, and I get that. But you have to also understand that when this finally comes to the Xbox platform, in the way where we're actually going to get an official peripheral that from Microsoft and Razer, which, by the way, make the best mouse and keyboards in the business, we're going to be privy to more RTS titles. I happen to really like that genre. If it's not for you, I hear you. I completely understand. You won't be this is probably a $60 or $70 peripheral you won't have to buy, and no one's going to twist you on and make you play an RTS. But I'm going to say this. This story I pulled from TheVerge.com, they say this. We've known for half a year that Razer had partnered with Microsoft on a mouse and keyboard support for the Xbox One, and it could have major implications for future titles. Xbox One players have been asking for mouse and keyboard support for a long time, and obviously since the console was released in 2013, the feature only arrived last month. Now, Microsoft has long resisted because some fans feared precise mouse movement might give players the unfair advantage, which I talked about. We're still wondering why Microsoft changed its mind so late in the game, but it's perhaps because Halo Infinite, which is coming to both Windows 10 and gaming PCs, as well as Xbox One consoles, will offer cross-platform keyboard and mouse multiplayer. Now, we don't know this. This is complete speculation on the author's point of view, so don't get crazy. Now, we'll unfortunately have to wait until January to find out how much the keyboard and mouse will cost. But we can see a few key details in the first official render, including an Xbox button at the bottom right of the keyboard, as well as what appears to be a slide-out mouse mat that's probably meant to stay balanced on your lap while you play. See, I thought about that. How am I going to use this thing on my lap? But now that it has the slide-out mouse pad, that might work. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use it, but if this gets me Gears Tactics, I have to buy this. I'm sorry. I'm Boom Bimes everything. This is something I'm going to have to sink my teeth in. But here's my question to you, Drew. Are you interested in the mouse and keyboard that Razer is making, or is it a big pass for you? Chat, please feel free to talk about it. Give us a 1 for yes, you're considering mouse and keyboard, or 2, hell no, I want my controller. Drew, take it away.
Right. First, I want to just address the elephant in the room, which is the keyboard and mouse versus controller multiplayer topic. I'm going to be very quick. It's only because I've seen a handful of comments on the chat, people concerned and saying that, like, I don't mind keyboard and mouse as long as that bit's figured out. But like me and Boom have said this on a few of the shows now, and I know I've said this before in other shows or videos or whatever. But I'm cool with keyboard and mouse. It doesn't bother me at all. But what I expect to see, and I can't see any reason for it not to happen because of the stigma that is very, very, very prominent. It's not going anywhere. But I do expect to see games that allow keyboard and mouse and controller support, integration, all that stuff for their multiplayer option of the said game. So say Gears of War 5, when you go into the multiplayer menu, you select Team Deathmatch, there should be a filter system where you select keyboard and mouse or controller or mixed, depending on your position, preference, whatever. I expect to see that. I have no doubt that'll happen. But in answer to your question, sorry, Boo, I hate to divert like that, dude. But it's just I just feel like, you know, I like to engage in the chat as well. And a few people said, what about this? What about that? So I just wanted to just directly nip that one in the bud. But am I interested in keyboard and mouse? Or is it a big pass for me? I'm going to say this. I am very interested, depending on the game. I've said this on the Saltiest Gaming podcast. Shout out to Saltiest Gaming. If a game, right, in my, you said Gears Tactics, but for me, it's World of Warcraft. If that game was to find its way over to the Xbox,
that would be a drop the mic moment for the gaming industry. P.S. By the way.
Oh, mate, I'm not joking, right? If they literally said to me tomorrow, like Aaron Greenberg or Major Nelson, Phil Spencer put out a tweet and said, World of Warcraft is coming to Xbox, but you need to buy this keyboard and mouse in order to play it. Well, sign me up. Where do I queue? Just tell me, Phil, where do you want me to stand? Honestly, mate, that in that instance right there, mouse and keyboard, all the blading way. And the thing is, right, the beauty of it being Razer is, you know, it's going to be a quality product. I can't commend Xbox enough. That is a very smart move by them to partner up with Razer for this particular. Like, if you're going to try and appeal to the controller fan base, myself included, and you want that person who knows nothing other than the controller, the couch controller, chilled out gaming setup, you have to get Razer involved if you're trying to get someone to get on keyboard and mouse. It can't be anybody else. It just can't.
Right. Yeah. A couple of people in the chat are saying that it's $250, that it's up for pre-order on the Microsoft Store. Thank you, everyone that sent that information. Country Gentleman being one of them. I did, and Vogelskrieg as well. I did not know that. $250 is a little steep. I'm going to be honest with you. But if you throw Gears Tactics in as a bonus, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to be honest with you.
They'd be stupid not to. We've said this before, Boom.
Yes,
like, in that case, being that it's a first-party title, it's a game under Microsoft, they'd be absolute fools not to bundle a game. Maybe, just maybe, because you mentioned Halo Infinite, maybe they're putting it out there like this keyboard and mouse is available to buy now, even if you're just a PC gamer who wants to buy it. Who knows? But I'm wondering if come next gen, come 29, maybe even 20 later next year, or maybe they'll have like a bundle for the Xbox Anaconda with a premium, with like an Xbox Elite controller, and then they might have another bundle, the Xbox Anaconda with the Razer keyboard and mouse, and they'll set it off that way to appeal to both ends of the spectrum, because you are going to have PC-centric gamers who want to dive into the Xbox ecosystem. There's always going to be that market. But one thing to consider, though, is when they did reveal and announce the whole Razer is going to make keyboard and mouse, they said it was going to be a couch-friendly.
Yes.
You know, which is genius, really, as I think a lot of controller users would be put off at the idea of having to sit at a desk rather than the sofa or their lounge chair. And if this gives you the console feel of chilling with a controller in your hand while feet up on the bloody coffee table, then that is definitely going to soften the blow for a lot of console users, making the transition, if their game they want to play requires keyboard and mouse. So in my case, if I want to play World of Warcraft, if it was to make its way over, or in your case, Gears Tactics, it's going to be far more appealing, especially when you've got a $250 price tag, Christ alive, to make that plunge if you're going to be able to still enjoy gaming the way you always have. I haven't seen the end result in terms of what it looks like, but I can only imagine, being that it's Razer, they've got a good design at their sleeve for this particular. Because they're gonna, aren't they, Boom? Like, I'll pass it back on to you, but surely to God, with that said, the whole, chilled, making it chilled for the gamer kind of mentality, it's got to be done in a way that like makes it easier for the
Yeah, it's got
person.
to be it's got to be you have to grab the appeal of the
Yeah.
of the controller people for sure. Just out of curiosity, now we're at 90 minutes. The show has been fantastic, and if it ended right now, it would be considered one of the best of 2018. But Welsh, do you have an additional 5 minutes you can give the community?
Make anything for the guys in the chat and for you, Boom. Like that's why I'm here. I aim to please.
Well, listen, I have one last topic that we're going to talk about. We have 130 people live watching, which is blowing my mind. Sumo Digital, the developer who is finishing Crackdown 3 and reviving what was once a sinking ship, is now hiring. Okay. And this is where this starts to get into little speculation land. And I like talking about it. This is a direct quote from the official Twitter account of Sumo Digital. We are looking for passionate, senior environment artists looking to join us at Sumo Digital, or Sumo Indiana, as it says. Do you aspire to bring realistic and stylized environments into a AAA project to life? Apply today, and they have the link. Now, here's the thing. The one thing that there's a couple of caveats we have to talk about before getting into actual Sumo Digital hiring. One, Microsoft is nowhere near done buying studios. This is confirmed. Okay, this was confirmed by Clobriel, who has yet to be wrong. Okay, that guy is an insider to the Xbox brand. I don't know where he gets his information, but the guy is a good source for Xbox info. So if you're not following him on Twitter, shame on you. Follow him immediately. Secondly, in the past, we've seen studios start to staff up prior to being announced that they're being purchased by Microsoft. And a few people, we know who they are. We know Ninja Theory was hiring. There's quite a few of the companies that they purchased, right, that started staffing up. And we heard about the staffing up prior to the announcement of the purchase. So here's my question to you, Drew, to end out today's amazing show. Is it possible that Sumo Digital will be the next company to be swept up? Because we've heard Phil Spencer himself has said publicly that Crackdown is one of his favorite franchises, and there has already been talk in the industry for a Crackdown 4. Could this be possible moving forward? What are your takeaways from this?
I think for me to sit here and say that it's impossible is idiotic. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a done deal or it's not happening. I'll just say this, Boom, playing devil's advocate, taking it with a pinch of salt, because that's just how we do things. That's the fun of podcasting, the fun of speculating. But I think it is very possible that Sumo Digital could be getting acquired. Like you said, you said it best, and it's very true. I think a lot of people tend to bloody forget that even after everything we've talked about today, the success of Microsoft, Phil Spencer, the surpassing of Apple, the gaming division of Xbox being bigger and more focused on than ever before, and people are still probably thinking like, oh, surely 7 acquisitions is enough. They don't need any more. Surely, blah blah blah. It's like, get a grip. Like they are an unstoppable train. So if you're asking me, Sumo Digital, which frankly isn't the biggest long shot you could even pitch to me right now, because Sumo Digital has worked very closely with Microsoft for years, with the previous Crackdowns, with other games as well, and currently Crackdown 3, potentially, rumored working on Crackdown 4. Like, if you're actually going to say to me, is it possible? Yes, very much so. It is very possible. If this is the case, and they, and they just want to have a certain amount of people working for them on their new project, whether it be Crackdown 4 or something else entirely, before they actually make an announcement, well, then it should be, it should be interesting to see what comes of it. Maybe it's just a huge coincidence. Who knows? But when there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly fun to speculate. I love going back and forth. All I'll say is this: either way, this is very exciting, as Sumo Digital are a talented developer, And I'm sure whatever they are working on and currently recruiting the talent for will be a fantastic game, whether be exclusive or not. But I'm going to say this. I'm 60% for them being acquired and 40% for probably not going to happen. So
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards the possibility of them being acquired. I really am.
Okay.
I'm just thinking their history, doing a bit of third party and stuff like that. Maybe that'll get the better of them. Maybe they'll be a bit too big for their boots. But hopefully, if Crackdown 3 is a success and they see a very successful future under the Microsoft umbrella, which no doubt it will be, I think Crackdown 3 is going to surprise a lot of people, especially with the amount of time and effort that has gone into the 100% destructible environments. A lot of time and effort, money, and sweat and tears and blood has been bled into this company and going into like this particular game. I'd be very shocked, to be honest, at this point, if there wasn't something maybe going on. I imagine Phil has pitched to them that they want to acquire him. I'll say that much. I reckon Phil has already put it out there, like to Sumo Digital, like we want to give you this opportunity. Think about it. Get back to us. But time will tell. But no, I'm 60-40. 60, I think they will. 40, just playing devil's advocate. Nah, it's not going to happen. But I think it might likely happen.
Well, listen, real quick, Jonathan B. in the chat. I want to thank him for this information. He says Crackdown 3 is the next IGN first game for the month, and they're showing new single-player gameplay that's up now. So listen, I didn't know that, Jonathan B. Thank you so much for the info. As soon as I'm done with the show, I'm going to, unfortunately, I hate going to IGN because I don't like them anymore. I'm going to be honest. I enjoy doing my own content and listening to people on YouTube as opposed to listening to them. But to check out Crackdown 3's single-player campaign, I will peruse it for a few minutes. Anyway, I want to say
my name is Ryan McCaffrey. And,
yeah.
and I'm scared of cars, so I take the bus everywhere.
You're fired.
And you right there, you play games a lot. Oh, you're fired, man.
Well, listen, I have to say a real big thank you for the 130 plus people watching live. That is amazing. We are constantly breaking numbers on this show. Of course, I have to shout out the entire chat once again. You proved to me, you proved to Drew, you proved to people that are coming to watch this show for the first time that this is the most friendliest chat in the business. You guys are all adults. You're professionals. You treat everyone. You treat each other with a huge amount of respect, and I cannot thank you enough for that. I want my chats to be a fun place to hang out, and you do provide that each and every show that I do. So give yourself a round of applause. I have to thank the amazing amount of generosity that has been bestowed upon me by people from this particular chat. I'm just really blown away at how generous you are. Thank you so much. Of course, I have to thank my amazing co-host that I could not do this show or would want to do the show without. Drew, listen, I know that you said that you were taking some time off with the Dragon X podcast. It's expected to return hopefully sometime in 2019 with possibly some revisions. I know you want to refresh a few things, but you're still very interesting to talk to on Twitter, which you're very active about. Please tell everyone where they can check out your YouTube channel. Hit that bell and of course subscribe, but also follow you on Twitter where they can give you ideas in your DM.
Well, thank you, Boom. Always again, man, you're a true professional. Be sure to check out the show tomorrow.
Oh, I'm going to get into that in a second. That's a big one, dude.
I was going to say that I'm looking forward to that one. But as for me, little old Welshie, check me out on Twitter at the Welsh Gamer 93, one word. And as for my YouTube channel, the Welsh Gamer, 3 words. Content's been light. I'm not making excuses for it, but I would suggest, if you haven't already, if you like hearing the sound of my voice like I do, because I love the sound of my voice, be sure to go over there, hit the subscriber button and the bell icon, because I do very much intend, maybe not this side of Christmas, but I do 110% intend to get full throttle back into video making. It's something I did enjoy doing. And on that note, I've said it for 4 weeks now. Anyone listening now, if you have a topic, an idea, a notion, anything polarizing, anything, give it to me. Gaming related, obviously, but anything you want me to talk about in a video, if you want me to shout you out, or if you want to stay anonymous, that is up to you. Give it to me in a DM on Twitter and I will make a video about it. Probably, like I said, in the new year, but it's just an idea for you. I like to engage with the community, but that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for watching, guys. The chat has been absolutely phenomenal. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. It was a fantastic show. Me and Boom worked hard on this. Boom especially. Boom is a true professional, always making my life easier. Boom, you are an absolute gent. I love doing this with you. Thank you very much. Once again, take it away.
I appreciate it. Well, real quick before we get out of here, there's still a significant amount of people watching. Tomorrow's episode of Breakfast with Boom has been transformed into Christmas with Boom. It is my first holiday special that will become an annual thing, and it's not just Christmas topics. So yeah, the opening is going to be talking about past Christmas experiences that we, each one of the panel members hold dear to their heart. So I'm very excited to tell you one of mine. But more specifically, there will be $400+ worth of giveaways. I've been asked how was I able to do that? Well, first of all, Kasi1300 donated a PUBG code. So thank you so much to him for that. The rest of the prizes, just so everyone knows, I basically took all of my YouTube earnings from November to purchase everything. And of course, the help of Mrs. Boomstick, or Mrs. Claus, if you will, helped me get all the prizes together. We sat down, we brainstormed how we could thank the community for the amazing support that you have shown this channel. And that's the way we're going to do it. There's a tremendous amount of prizes. Basically, all you have to do to win one of these prizes is be in the chat and basically retweet the hashtag, which I will unveil when the episode goes live tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I'm going to use a tweet draw to pick the winner. There are some physical prizes along with a ton of digital prizes. If you go to my Twitter account, it has a list of everything I'm giving away. I hope that you guys tune in tomorrow for Christmas with Boom. It's going to be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing everybody in the chat. Drew himself will also be there on the panel. So, of course, I'm looking forward to working with him again. So, once again, from Drew and I, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. We will see you next week. Drew, are we doing next week, or are you on vacation?
When would next? What's the date next week?
Well, next Thursday. It's going to be the same. I believe it's the 28th.
Yeah, Christ,
okay.
Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah.
All right, so we will be having a show next week when everyone else is taking off. Drew and I will be having the Xbox Factor podcast. Once again, thank you for the chat. Thank you for the donations. And thank you for tuning in. We will see you live next week. Everyone, please enjoy your holiday, no matter which one you celebrate, whether it be Christmas, whether it be Kwanzaa, whether it be Hanukkah. Enjoy yourself. Love your family. Cherish your friends and your family. And just be safe. And again, this is my police officer coming out. Please drink responsibly and don't drink and drive. It's very important that you don't kill yourself or anyone else. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow morning.